7, verse 41. Ataveja Swashibaram Govinda Priya Sarati Nyaya Vidayatam Priyayai Suchancha Majanhatam Ataveja Swashibaram Govinda Priya Sarati Nyaya Vidayatam Priyayai Suchancha Majanhatam Atapecha Swashibiram Govinda Priyasharati Nyaya Vidayatam Priyayai Suchancha Majanhatam. Go ahead, please. If there's anybody online, please go ahead.
Atopetya swasibiram Govinda Priyasaratihi Yavedyatam Priyayai Dochancha Atmajanhatan.
Thank you. So we shall proceed with the ritual word. Did you chant? Oh, you did. Okay, good. Atha, thereafter, Upeja, having reached Swa, on Shibiram, camp, Govinda, one of the largest essences, Lord Sri Krishna, Priya, dear, Saratihi, you'd have to say the H, yeah, charity he, the H at the end. Yeah, charity he, the charioteer, Nyavidayat, entrusted to Tam, him, Priyayai, unto the dear, Shochanchai, lamenting for Atmajan, own sons, Atan, murdered. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Shri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. Please repeat. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Shri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The transcendental relation of Arjuna with Krishna is of the utmost friendship. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself exclaims Arjuna as his dearmost friend. Every living being is thus related with the Supreme Lord by some sort of affectionate relation, either a servant or his friend or his parent or as an object of conjugal love. Everyone thus can enjoy the company of the Lord in the spiritual realm, if he at all desires and sincerely tries for it by the process of bhakti yoga. The verse again. Atavyacha swa shiviram bhovina priya sharatihi nya vidayatam priyayai shachanchya jan matan. After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Shri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. Om Gyanatim Shakyam Dinam Shilakya Chakshurumilitam Dinam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we are moving. Everything good? Can you hear? Oh, really? Can you hear now? Because if you can't hear, then we'll practice Manavrat today. No Manavrat.
Yes.
So we are reaching the end of this chapter. We are, 3/4 through it, and the denouement or the end has not yet come, and it cannot exactly be anticipated. Why can it not be anticipated what it will be? Why? Tell me in one sentence. Why can we not expect what is going to happen, like foreshadowing? Unless, of course, you know the story. Yeah, it's Krishna speaking equivocally. He's equivocal. So you can't really tell where is he going. We know in the Gita, to some extent, that what Krishna says is where he is going. But Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita himself goes the zigzag way. Then he says, the highest is knowledge. Then he says, no, the highest is work. And then he says, the highest is bhakti, forget everything. The last 8 verses, forget everything, sarva dharma pritya. I always laugh and say, you don't need to study 680 verses, just the last few. But, no, just 1 minute, please. No. This is what leads to the end, the denouement. It leads to what we should know, where we should go. So, but to speak of our own lives are zigzag. Huh? Almost every day is zigzag. We go from enthusiasm to some depression, to some inaction, to some action, to little joy, etc. All day, the moods are going, fluctuating. So, this fluctuating mood is established here. So I'm using 2 words. Don't look at the text, but do you remember the Sanskrit word for the camp? For camp? Don't feel bad if you don't.
Shibiram.
Yeah. Shivi. It's Shivi. So it's very good. Shivirai. And so the word is used twice in this chapter. It's used in verse 34, and then this verse again, where earlier it was used. It says, Arjuna went to his own, no, not his own camp. He went to his camp with Ashwatthama. And it appeared from the setting of the text that he was not going to kill him. What was your opinion when he went to his camp a few verses ago? It looked like he was not going to kill him. Then Krishna came rushing up with a chariot. He was there. I could never understand really why Krishna suddenly is there. It's very interesting. Some of the points I'm making today may amaze you. Krishna came suddenly, and with Arjuna, of course, to direct the direction of the Brahmastra and what should be done, etc., to counteract Ashwatthama earlier. So Krishna comes and gives all kinds of indications what should be done with Ashwatthama, and then he cites who should be killed when and who should not be killed when. When is killing apropos and when isn't it apropos? Of course, everything depends on the country, the history, etc. What might be apropos in India 2,000 years ago is no longer apropos. You see, it's just like because somebody steals your wife, then you can kill the person and think you can get away with it. And you quote Bhagavad Gita. This is not how it is. So we have to read this in a certain context. And it's very important to remember that when we study this Srimad Bhagwatam, Gita, whatever we're studying, that we try and understand that we see it from our perspective. We see it from our perspective. I point this out all the time. And what is our perspective? Well, generally speaking, referencing myself, we are seeing it from the level of the three modes of material nature. So I don't actually see it properly. I don't see it properly. I see it partially. I'm in the right quarter, that we can say. If you look at reality, the beautiful in terms of four quarters, it says three are transcendental and one is material. But if from that one quarter of material you're looking toward the transcendence, which is three quarters, you are beginning to see what is the truth. Because it's not very easy. It's like in our scriptures, we often say, just examine scripture. But anybody who is new to this is saying, scripture, which scripture? I'm used to examining the Bible. So should I examine the Bible? So it's which scripture, and then the pathway to which scripture for you to believe in that is very complicated. Are you going to spend 10 years researching which path? No. So that is because ultimately Krishna himself enlightens you from within in one instance, if he wants. In one instance, he gives you the insight. So here, of course, there's a conversation, and we can follow the conversation, and we can see where this goes. So these two ideas of camp, Shibirai, and later it's called Swa, Sibi, he goes to his own camp. Now, I was thinking, where is his own camp? Where is Draupadi? Where is she when all of this is taking place? Yeah? Why would she be a Kurukshetra? Why is Draupadi? Do you know she's at Kurukshetra? Is she at Kurukshetra? Why is Draupadi, his wife, at Kurukshetra? What is she doing there? Where does she live? Yeah? No, they live in Eka Chakra, the place where Lord Chaitanya is born a few days from now. The Eka Chakra in Bengal. They're living in Bengal. That is their, Lord Nityananda, of course. But the Pandavas are living in Eka Chakra at that time. And Eka Chakra, guess how far it is from Kurukshetra? 1,600 miles. So how is it that from one sentence to another, it goes from one shibi to another? It's not easy to understand. You cannot think that Draupadi is waiting for him in the next tent with the dead kids. The dead kids are supposed to be presented to the king. Are the bodies there? Are they lying there? Where are those dead bodies? Very complex narrative in a sense. But the point is that I want to make, that I'm bringing this up, that when Arjuna is alone and in his own camp, camp, he had his own ideas. You can see that. And although it's not revealed what it is, it appears that he doesn't want to kill Ashwatthama. Then when he goes to back, wherever that is, don't know if it's Ekachakra for sure, or if there's some temporary camp, when he goes to his own home, then who is there to help mitigate the decision what is to be done? That is Draupadi. So this is very significant. There's Krishna, there's Draupadi, there's Arjuna, there's Ashwatthama, you see. So it becomes more of a collective. And when there's a collective, then there might be various opinions. Very seldom that everybody has the same opinion, everybody else in the room, you see. So then there's a very minor discussion, there's only articulated here in a few verses, and it says, when Draupadi saw the Ashwatthama, the son of the Guru, who was her main hero of her favorite husband, you know that Draupadi's favorite husband is Arjuna. At the end, just to make a footnote, the jewel that came from the head of Ashwatthama is given to whom? Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira. It's given to Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira wears it in his crown. And she wanted that jewel, actually. She told Arjuna, hey, I want that jewel. Get that. You know, you bring in the head? Great. I want the jewel. You see? So you also have to remember, especially if you Indian and you grew up in India and you heard Mahabharata, that the Mahabharata gives slightly different accounts from Srimad Bhagwatam. You see? Or the Srimad Bhagavatam will omit certain things or give different opinions or give different accents. So what you necessarily read in the Mahabharata is not exactly what it might say in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I want you to remember that. So there's so many, I mean, even the Mahabharata has how many editions? You see? So many editions of this. Actually, the last edition that was done, and it was a scholarly edition in English. It was done by actually a very famous professor who was originally from Holland. And one person that I really favored, his name is Van Buitenen. He was in Chicago University. They were the main Sanskrit university in India, in America. And he translated, he spent, I don't know, decades translating. Then he suddenly died in a very suspect manner. Suddenly he died and wasn't finished. But that is often taken as the most authoritative edition in English. So there's many manuscripts, so to speak. So here, the decision is made. Krishna is already saying that he says he should be killed. He should. Doesn't Krishna say he should be killed? What does Krishna say? He does. Arjuna thinks not to kill him. Krishna says he should be killed and gives Shastric evidence. And then when they come in front of, guess who? Yeah, but what is her name here? Priyayai. Her name is Priya, darling. So when we come in front of the darling one, then there's a new opinion. So this is something I wanted to point out in the verse. There's two beautiful sentences, Govinda Priya and Priyayai. So the word Priya is incredible. It's used here twice. Also, I'm jumping around a little bit. Prabhupada's purport is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite purports. It's very short. And Prabhupada's just enlightening us to how we can become self-realized. He says, every living entity has a relationship with Sri Krishna in 5 modes. What do you think of this? Not just every human being, every plant, every animal, every living entity has a relationship with Krishna. It's very beautiful, Prabhupada. He's not preaching there. He's saying, hey, remember this. So, when they come in front of Draupadi, because it is the son of the noble teachers, so how can I kill Drona? Says right in the beginning of this, how can I kill my teachers who taught me the art of war? How can I kill them? You know? So here then, she immediately, because she's a soft-hearted woman, it says, she immediately feels terrible. Here he is bound up like a criminal, all disheveled in ropes. And she says, untie him. And he's untied. And his hair is cut, and the jewel is taken. And it says he is sent aloof forward in Kali Yuga. It says for 3,000 years. It says sometimes for the entire Kali Yuga he roams around. And if you look at the internet, they say, yes, we encountered him. We encountered somebody. This must be Ashvatthama. Sometimes people encounter Vyasa, sometimes Ashvatthama, sometimes Draupadi, but never themselves. Never see themselves. So it's very beautiful. So this is how the story ends, and this is so we can ask the different philosophical questions about this, and one of them is what is the function of free will? Or I can ask my audience, just and don't give a paragraph, give one sentence. What is your opinion? Do we have free will or not? What is your honest opinion? Okay, good. Leave it at that. Anyone else? Yeah. Anyone else? Any? You don't? Okay, good. And, darling? No. No. Prabhupada said, no. We do not have free will. He says, we do not have free will. So it's very incredible because, and all of us, most of us Westerners, I can't see the difference. In the West, we believe in free will. You know, that's one of our main, what has lifted up the European continent to the highest degree is the concept of free will. Well, we have free will. But Prabhupada says, I read quite a few quotes and I researched it. We do not have free will. Whatever, but the thing is, the main statement that we don't have, he says, we don't have free will. He actually says just like this. You can look it up. No, we do not have free will. Okay? So, then of course, we also need to backstep and get all the footnotes to it. So, I was also looking at Jiva Institute to see what Swamiji had to say, and he had a very good article on it. He was saying, our free will is covered and limited. It appears that we have free will, but because our knowledge is imperfect, that's what also Prabhupada says, our knowledge is imperfect, our senses are imperfect, we are not enlightened, we don't actually have free will. Free will is a concept of ahankar. And when you look at the verse in Gita, you have it with me, Bhagavad Gita 3:27, can somebody look it up? Here it is. Just let me read this. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karamani sarvashyaha ahankar vimudarma kartaham iti manyate. So kartaham, I am not kartaham. We never use this phrase somehow, but I am not the doer. I think I'm the doer, but I'm not the doer. And I was reading another article by a devotee saying that if we actually had free will, you can't even imagine what chaos the world would be in. No, but I'm talking about ordinary concept of free will. We choose all the time. I have vegan pizza or vegetarian pizza. That goes without saying. We have a choice, but that's not what we discuss. And we talk about ultimately free will. And it says free will, and just look what Prabhupada says. If we had free will, this world would be chaos because we would all be saying, I want it like this. I want the temple to look like this. I want it to look, I get together with the strongest people. We have a vote. We give the money. Temple's going to be like this. There wouldn't be the way, the rhythm that we have in history would not be there if we all had free will. It is imposed upon us by Krishna. That is the free will. That's why we have this incredible rhythm, not only of the seasons, but also of the different yugas. We say, what did we say is the first yuga? Which one? Satyayuga. And the second? No. What did you say? It doesn't make any sense, obviously. No, Dwarka, Dwa, two. Then the third one? Treta. Then? Okay, Chatu. You have to count ordinary English. Why it was inverted? It was and it doesn't make any sense. I always laugh when people say second yuga, Treta yuga. It's like either you don't understand Sanskrit, or you have no sense of humor, or you're completely asleep. You see, three means three. Cannot means you know. So it's very hilarious. So yes, isn't it hilarious? Yeah, go ahead, speak something. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Of course. So it's very interesting. So we can do it like this. You can do the math, do the math, but understand the beautiful twisting of these terms and how it is used. And Krishna will invert it at his will. He inverts all kinds of things. You see? So if we do not see the high humor of this, I always say, most of the rasas are accompanied by hasha, laughter. Most of them are accompanied by laughter. Look at love affairs. Love affairs is only laughter. Huh? Love affair. In your own love affair, you're not just serious with frowned eyebrows. You're just laughing and joking and having a good time. And friendship is only laughter. Huh? Dasha, not so much. And in the parental, of course, who's laughing? Not so much father and mother, but children are laughing. They laugh at their father and mother when they're gone. What does Krishna and his friends do the minute they get out of the door and out of sight of Mother Yashoda? What's the first thing they do? They throw away these crowns and these weird clothes. They put, forearms. They don't have forearms. They throw away all the formal clothing dirty. They put crown of flowers on, and they dress in some leaves, and they play. It's one of the things that if you read about the friendship, it's what they do. They play. And when they come home, look how beautiful they look. Krishna looks white. Why does he look white when he comes home? What? Yeah, covered with dust. And Balaram looks black because he's dirty. Think of that for a joke. See, so things reverse. So for us to really understand scripture, we have to look with a very acute eye, not just each word on the page, but to read between the lines. If you don't read between the lines, then you don't remember what Krishna said five verses ago, or what he will say. So we anticipate what he might say, what he has said, what he is saying, and we have to combine all of this. And we have to combine it in such a way that it makes sense. Huh? If you combine it and it doesn't make sense, you walk away from this. You say, like if you research, for instance, contradictions in the Bhagavad Gita, well, you can read 10,000 or 100,000 words, more than this. It's a topic ad nauseum of the contradictions, you see. But the contradictions are resolved, and that is the whole idea about the material world. There is a contradiction, you can say, between, I use the term lightly, samsara or nirvana. They're opposite in terms of actual meaning. Samsara is full of stuff, and nirvana is full of not stuff. Okay? So there's a complete contradiction, but they always interact. Every moment in samsara might become heavenly, and every moment in nirvana might be retracting and become something in its opposite. So that's why we have the famous phrase, opposites unite. And I mean, that is a world phrase that opposites unite. The circle unites. We have, I'm a painter and I paint the Enso. The Enso is one stroke. It's usually left open a little at the top. Huh? You can go in, you can go out. Are you inside the circle? Are you outside the circle? Where are you? According to Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in or out of the circle? According to Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Yep. Don't know. I thought you would know the answer. You're both in and out. Veda Abheda. This concept, Veda Abheda, is the main feature of Gaudiya Vaishnava. It explains everything. Huh? Like, for instance, I've pointed out many times, Western philosophy, the main theme of Western philosophy is the one and the many. That's the main theme. The one and the many. The one and the many. That's the common theme in Western philosophy. So, in our philosophy, we have the one and the many, but they're always intertwined. And how so? What is the adjective we use for understanding it? Achincha. Inconceivable. And like we point out ad nauseum, why is it inconceivable? It can only be conceived on the spiritual platform. So as long as we are in this mood of what does it say? At last phase, Katha aham. As long as in the mood of Katha aham, I cannot understand Veda Aveda properly. I can understand it intellectually. I can give 20 million talks on it, but I have no experience. Just like, we do a lot of research, and many times we're researching, let's say spiritual topics, but they're all commented upon by material people. And their commentary is correct in terms of logic, but it is not correct in terms of having an experience. They have no idea. So we can talk ad nauseum about these things and have no idea. Yet, that knowledge is useful. And this is why Krishna says in the Gita, knowledge is very useful. Like, we start reading Bhagavad Gita, it's an excerpt from the Mahabharata, of course, from the Bhishma Parva. And it's an excerpt from the Bhishma Parva, and it's not written in 18 chapters. It's one chapter, we divide it in 18 chapters, according to subject, so to speak. So it's one chapter, and when you read it, you can see how Krishna leads you from one point of view to another. It takes 700 verses for Arjuna to say, not 700, 689, for Arjuna to say, now I've understood it. Actually, the last verse says it. Now I've understood it, and now I'm doing it. So 700 verses, you see? So it's not all preaching, it is introduction, etc. And Krishna gives so much information, and he shows, his theophany, the what do you call it, the Krishna's universal form. It's incredible. But even though that might be the highlight of the Gita, like ringing the bell, the highlight of the Gita, at the same time, is Krishna attracted to the universal form? No, he says, take it away. We're supposed to sit on the bed. He says, we are sitting on the bed talking. That's our Ras. We're friends. Like, what is another of the relationship of Arjuna and Krishna? You should all know this. He's his friend. What else? You're Indian. He's his brother-in-law. So, we've often, his brother-in-law. He's married to his sister. Come on. So, we should understand these are people who joke together, not people who, not one is the teacher per se, and one is the student. And Krishna plays a lower role. The charioteer is a much lower role than the warrior. Krishna, what class is he? It's class. Farmer class. He's not even a kshatriya. It's only when he moves back with his parents that he's considered kshatriya, and he goes to school, learns ABC. But it's ABC. When you read what he learns how to read what is in somebody's hand without seeing. That type of thing. They're called 99 arts. You see what I mean? He learns, what do you call that in Sanskritic arts? Kala. He learns the kalas. You see, isn't that beautiful? And he learns the kalas in a certain amount of days. As many kalas as there are, he learns it in that many days. Very perfect. So for us to understand what is going on, we have to actually understand that I don't understand. What do you think of that? Understand that you don't understand. Then everything is opened up towards understanding. Now, I have a famous phrase. I saw it once even on the internet quoting me. But it says, it's only logical to assume that there's something higher than logic. You see? It's only logical. I use logic to take out logic. So how do you take out a nail? With a scissor? No, with another nail. You take it out with another. So it's only logical to assume there's something higher than knowledge. And what is higher than knowledge is experience, anubhav. So when you have anubhav, you have confirmation of what apparently this knowledge is saying, you can say. You become an actual witness to this. And witness means shakshan. You become the shakshan. So rather than identifying per se with your body and mind, which are material, you start to not only identify with yourself as a shakshan, you realize that's your identity. And this is the whole teachings of the Gita. Identify, or all other books you do, identify with yourself as the shakshan. So you see things from a higher point of view. And rather than crying, you start laughing, because it's hilarious. Because you can look where you want, and you see the truth. What does it say? The point, the point, the center is everywhere, and the circumference is nowhere. What do you think of that? So wherever you are, if you are in higher consciousness, is denoting the essence of the thing without limit. But your point of view may be slightly different from somebody else. And that's why each of us, we have our unique DNA. And spiritually, we have our unique DNA. And that's why Prabhupada says, everyone can fit into these 5 categories. Everyone. What do you think of this? He's not even talking about Vaikuntha. Of course, Vaikuntha, you can understand this as Shantaras. It has more like Shantaras. So, by studying this, we become very fortunate. And I was just thinking, especially this morning, it's February the 1st, somehow. It's my favorite day of the year, maybe 1 or 2 of my favorite days of the year. And it's not snowing, it's not raining right now. We can even walk somewhere. So we're so fortunate that we're looking at this literature. I've been looking at it almost 50 years. Can you imagine? 50 years. And somebody says, and still you can't even quote, so many you forget what number is which. So we're very fortunate that we open this and that we look at these verses and collectively, this is also very important. It's not like we don't need 20 minutes of feedback either. I don't think that's necessary, unless we have like a separate chat talk when you can talk, hold forth. But that we can discuss it, that we get fresh insight from your point of view. I might give my point of view via what I'm reading and what I'm presenting, and you have your own point of view, which is completely legitimate. Because that's where you are at. And reality begins at your own feet. Does it make sense? Like I might say, I think you're slightly mistaken about this or that concept. But that is okay. Then I say that, then in time, you might say, my God, I didn't realize it's actually true. At first we may react, but to the degree that we act and don't react, we can make progress. It's completely amazing. Like Arjuna didn't react, Ashwatthama reacted. He was trying to flee away. His horses didn't were tired. He released his weapon, didn't know how to retreat it. He was only half prepared. And Arjuna released his weapon and we retracted both of them. Arjuna didn't react, he acted and followed Sri Krishna. So when we follow Sri Krishna, but not blindly, there's no charm. If you say to Krishna, well, I follow it because it says so, Bhagavad Gita 7:12. It's not impressive. You say, reading this, and intuitively I feel that this is correct. Otherwise, how could all of us, especially us Westerns, how could we have taken to all this Sanskrit literature? See, it's not our Bible, but it became our Bible because of acute hearing and association of the devotees. Does that make sense? And I would say the phrase is sharing the bliss. We share the bliss. Because I saw so much bliss amongst the devotees. I thought, oh, bliss is. Maybe I should try it out for myself. Of course, I told you many times, when I first joined, I didn't know you had to join for a whole lifetime. I was a teacher. I had the teaching certificate. I was teaching a little bit on one of the islands here, what do you call it, temporary teaching, substitute teaching. And then I met the devotees and they said, oh, you're a teacher, you have a master's degree in English, and you have this and this from UBC. They said, we need a teacher. I said, oh, really? When is you? Oh, September to April. You know, they did actually say something. So I joined. I thought I was joining for a year. But they confronted me right away in the back step. Temple president was standing there and he says, are you staying for the whole lifetime? I thought, I better say yes. Otherwise, they won't let me even stay for a year. Because we came on our bicycles. My kids and myself, we came on bikes. With my backpack. I'm not going back. I already gave my boat away. I gave my cats away. I gave my dog away. My sailboat away. Yada. So I said, yeah, of course. Wow. I hope nobody's listening to